Well, I started school in 1960. That's when I started kindergarten. You know, a lot of schools used to be just grades 1 through 11. When I came along, kindergarten was there, but it was totally optional. Then they added another year onto high school, grades 1 through 12, and made kindergarten not optional anymore. So you, so you really went from 11 years of education to 13 years of education. And then they added on the preschool this and the preschool that, to where you can really institutionalize your child from the time they're a toddler through the time that they're 18 years old. Now, I can tell you this. I grew up in a small town, population 3,400 and change, and it was a small school system, obviously. But even by 1961, when I started first grade, we already, if memory serves, didn't have the Pledge of Allegiance, much less a scripture and a prayer to begin the school day. All that had already been dropped sometime during the 1950s. It's kind of shocking to realize that those things have been out of the education system for that long. At least, that's 60 years. That's 60-something years. That's more than 2 generations. So for more than 2 generations, our young people have not had any exposure really to Judeo-Christian values. Prayer, a Bible verse, a little song of inspiration. All that has disappeared and has been gone for a very long time, leaving the pathway open for whatever ideology wants to come in. When you take Judeo-Christianity out, you don't have a vacuum. There's no such thing as a values vacuum, right? Something is something immediate. If you take Christianity out, something else gets sucked in. Well, welcome to Tim's Challenge. It's Sunday, August the 14th, 2022. Last time I mentioned 3 facts that if you don't know these 3 facts, you don't know what's going on in this country. You cannot know what's going on. You can't fully be aware of what's going on in the country and in the world without these 3 facts. Quickly, let's review them. Fact number 1, what we have today is not liberalism. We call Joe Biden a liberal. We call the Democrat Party liberals. They're not. They're left-wing extremists. Very important distinction. Fact number 2, the left is wrong on everything. They're not right on some things and wrong on some other things, but they're wrong on everything. Every issue, they're wrong. By the way, I'm going to call it the left. You can call it Marxism. You can call it progressivism. Just don't call it liberalism, because it's not that. And fact number 3, not only is the left wrong about on the issues, but they are as wrong as you can be on every issue. They're as wrong as you can be on abortion. They're as wrong as you can be on the border. They're as wrong as you can be on fiscal policy. They're as wrong as you can be on foreign policy. These are the people that are calling day, night, east, west, north, south, evil, good. And these are the people who are saying that there's an infinite number of genders and that our schools need to help our 5-year-olds understand sexuality. Now, there's going to be some parents and grandparents who are watching this video. I like to say that we're all supposed to be doing something. We can't just sit on our little heinies and do nothing while the world goes to hell around us. Somebody said that if you don't get mad at sin, you're sinning. It's a sin to not be mad at sin. It's a sin to not do anything about the evil around us. Now, it's just a matter of deciding what you're supposed to do. Me, I do videos. Maybe you're supposed to be an activist. Maybe you're supposed to pick up a sign and go demonstrate. Maybe you're supposed to run for office. Maybe you're supposed to just open your mouth and say something when normally you would have said, it's just my opinion. It's just between God and me. I don't want to push my beliefs on somebody else. Tell you what, if you don't push your beliefs on somebody else, if you don't push your beliefs, somebody else will. Yeah. I'd rather me push my beliefs on somebody else than some left-wing extremist to push their beliefs on a person. Okay, so anyway, now our school system, I'll just lay it out. Our school system in the United States of America cannot be salvaged. We are way down the list in the school systems of the world. Asia is eating us for breakfast. Right now, there is a deficit of teachers in this country of 200,000 to 300,000 teachers. Teachers have been dropping out of the school system for decades. I know this because I was applying to be a teacher, I think it was 15, 16, 17 years ago. And it was going on back then, and it's still going on. The president of the National Educational Association is a lady who's obviously a far left person. She says, we don't know what we're going to do. We need more teachers. People are not going into the teaching profession. They're disgusted with it. And teachers who are already in the system are thinking about quitting, retiring early. Our school system is not going to be salvaged. You're putting your schools, you're putting your children into a school system that is on the decline. You are institutionalizing your children from the time they're toddlers practically to the time they're 18 years old. What are you thinking, parents? That's why the homeschool movement is so gigantic in this country. It's big and getting bigger. Listen, I got to tell you what. This is a bird nest. This is a nest of a mama and papa house wren that was they decided to have their nest on our front porch and our hanging basket. They did not like it when we watered the plant. But anyway, so it looks kind of dilapidated now, but just a few weeks ago, this was a loving, solid home of a nuclear family of birds. And they raised 7 young in this nest, 5 of which mated to adulthood. And that's pretty good for birds, 5 out of 7. Now I want to share something with you. With birds, with wrens and these small birds, it takes maybe 8 weeks from the time they're twitter-pated to the time they kick their fledglings out of the nest and they can fly on their own. It's probably about 8 weeks. That's all it takes. Out of 52 weeks of the year, 8 weeks is spent raising kids. The other 44 weeks of the year, they can do whatever they want to. It's a permanent vacation. But those 8 weeks, that's all they do. They literally do nothing else but rear their kids. Every ounce of energy, every breath they take, every worm is devoted to launching these children. Now, unfortunately, with humans, it's a little bit tougher because instead of 8 weeks, it's more like 18 years. But just like with birds, that's all they do for 8 weeks. Parents, that's all you get to do for 18 years. And of course, it's more than that if you have multiple kids. It's a hard job, but you have nothing else to do. Nothing else matters that you do except launching your kids successfully with the right values, with biblical values. You have nothing else to do. Nothing even comes close in importance to that. You're institutionalizing your children in a government institution for 18 years, for 15 years. What are you thinking?